Hi everyone, welcome to the 7th weekend review. I'm Totally Speedway's Daniel Powell. Sorry for the delay, it just being a one-man band on the weekend, getting all the results and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, apologise for that, but here we are. Just wanting to let everyone know that Sydney's Valvoline Raceway last night was cancelled. As you can see here, as a lot of people would know, that I'm based here in Sydney. As you can see in the background, it's a lovely overcast cold day, so certainly not the day to be outside, but thankfully all the racing apart from Sydney's Valvoline Raceway was run. So I've got racing all over the country, a lot of sprint car racing, a lot of sedan stuff. The World Finals has just finished, but I'll go over that and give you a full wrap down. So thanks once again, guys, for tuning in. Please like, comment, share to grow this reach and really get the word out there to do some real journalism in terms of covering Speedway. So first things first, we've got Murray Bridge Speedway for the Ultimate Pink Night. That was in South Australia, and that was the Ultimate Sprint Car Championship round 2. And finally, Robbie Farr has finally got his first win of the 2017-18 season. So it took him a while. He'd been unlucky not to get it. Probably, if all things equal, he probably would have had 3 wins by now, but fate had other ideas and he ended up running away with the win at Murray Bridge last night. He ended up second in the opening round, but was able to go one better and take a comprehensive win. Heard the track was really tough and brutal. It was really rough. Saw a photo of Steve Lyons' rock shield that was completely bent in, and thank God for rock shields, because if we didn't have them, we would have serious incidents like what we're seeing with Drew Cruck about 10 years ago, where his face was completely rearranged. It looked like he'd been punched in the face by Mike Tyson. So especially when you're travelling at those speeds and having a lump of clay or a rock come through, it certainly can do damage despite wearing the state-of-an-art helmet. So Robbie Farr came up with the win. He put it on pole position, drove away from the win. It was wild conditions, but Robbie, as a lot of people know, he goes by the nickname the Wild Child, so he was able to carry on there and take the win. Second was Matt Eagle. Matt Eagle come out of position 11, so he come a bit further deep in the field, so that's his first podium finish for the season aboard the SA number 97 Downing Brothers owned Cool. That was the second place. Brad Keller put in a strong drive to snare the final podium place. He came out of the B main. He had a DNF in one of his heat races. He ended up winning the B main, then come from position 17 to run third. Another impressive driver, he just missed out on a podium spot, was Ricky Mialo. Ricky Mialo in recent seasons hasn't done a whole lot due to various reasons. He used to be a regular on the scene, do World Series and all that, but in recent years he's scaled that back. He's doing a lot of local racing around the domestic area, around between Adelaide and Murray Bridge, but he ended up bringing it home fourth. He qualified third and just missed out on a podium finish. Fifth place was Luke Dillon, who ran third in round 1 a couple of weeks ago. He was able to bring it home in fifth. Steve Lyons, as I spoke about earlier, he was making his debut for this season aboard the Halls Motorsport team car. They were running third, but their car fell victim to the tough track conditions. A bolt in the front end of the car halted his run with 10 laps to go, and Lyons, he was on track there for a podium finish, but it wasn't to be. But he's very lucky that he didn't have, with the rough conditions in that photo that I saw earlier this morning in regards to the rock shield. Yeah, it's very lucky. It sounded like a pretty brutal sort of night, but that's what you get in sprint cars. Sometimes you get slick and dusty, sometimes you get rough and hooky, sometimes you get a little bit of everything. So that's the joys of Speedway. A lot of people complain, the track's too well, but that's the elements that you face. It's the same for everyone out there. In the support classes, for the Ultimate Pink Night, so that was raising breast care awareness and money, so great work by everyone for the initiative by the Made to Go team, who control Murray Bridge, Sydney's Valvoline Racer and Toowoomba's High Tech Oil Speedway. So great initiative by them and for a worthy cause. So, and the support classes, the Formula 500s, Angelo Carusis, I think that's how you say it. I can spell the name, but I can't pronounce it, sort of thing, doing that. Bradley Stell was second, and Jared Moore was third. In the late models, Steve Vaughan he ended up picking up the win. Fiona Verhoeven from Victoria, she was second. She had a nervous wait leading up to the meeting, and didn't want to meet this meeting, but was able to. Didn't want to miss this meeting, having a delay with engine parts, but thankfully was able to get them and get enough and bring it home as second. And Daryl Luna was third. In the V6 sprint, so a lot of people might not know, that's a South Australian based class. It's a mixture. It's like a lightning sprint or a leader sprint car, but obviously, or mini sprints down in Victoria. So they run V6 engines, but it's basically speed car chassis with wings. So yes, they run there. The veteran racer Steve Adgars, he took the win. Michael Bucks Allen, I think that's how you say it. He was second, and third was Tyson McCarthy. So well done to everyone there, and a great night. Looked like there was a great crowd out there, and congratulations to all involved. We had Warrnambool's Premier Speedway down in Victoria, in the southeast region of Victoria, and they had round 3 of the Eureka Garages and Shed Series. It was their first series, their first appearance for the 14 sprint cars for the season, and it was this might be a record. I wasn't able to clarify that, but 1, 2, 3, 4 for Warrnambool based drivers. So Jamie Veal ended up coming away with his second Eureka Garages and Sheds series round. Just as I take this, we're lucky I'm under shelter, because it's just started raining here in lovely Sydney. So Jamie Veal put it on pole position, converted it to a win, and that was his second round win at the Eureka Garage and Shed Series out of 3 starts. He was unlucky the previous weekend, although a fortnight earlier at Miami's Heartland Raceway, he was leading that until an accident took him out of the running, so he could have been 3 from 3 so far, but it wasn't to be. But Jamie's certainly in good form now. He beat one of his good friends, James McFadden, obviously Alice Springs, Northern Territory born, but now lives at Allensford, just down the road from Warrnambool's Premier Speedway. He was second. He was guest driving in the Victoria number 25 car of Jack Lee. So Jack Lee's committed to World Series this year, but James was able to have his first hit out here for the season of the season proper. Obviously ran up in Darwin for the Chariots of Thunder series back in August, and then between then he's been in America running for various car owners over there. So he ended up bringing home second after qualifying 6. Darren Molyneux, he completed the podium in third. Corey McCulloch completed the top 4 lockout of the podium for Warrnambool based drivers. He started from position 7 and ran 4th. The best of the non-Warrnambool based drivers was Grant Anderson. That was his second appearance this season, the most recent since coming back from his Californian sprint car debut over there. He started 5th, and that's where he finished. So, yeah. And Rusty Hickman showed impressive speed. He qualified second on the outside of Jamie Veal. So yeah, certainly getting Rusty Hickman certainly in good company up there. Unfortunately, late in the race, he made a mistake and dropped back to finish 6th. So still a great result. You learn more from your losses than you do from your wins, and Rusty's going to be better off for this experience. Also, so we've got there with that, and then also so there was about 50. I think it was 49 in total sprint cars that ran down there. There wasn't any major incidents, so it was a really tough track where it was hard to move forward, as you can see, with a lot of the positions, where they started, like it was pretty tight out there in terms of moving forward. There was guys that once you went a lap down, it was hard to recoup, sort of thing, naturally. So, and the support class was only junior sedans supporting the nearly 50 strong sprint car field. So they had the Yeoman Williams Memorial, so that's an annual event for junior sedans, and it was Brad Gartner from Penola in South Australia. That's right just over the Victorian South Australian border on the South Australian side near Mount Gambier. He ended up picking up the win. Second was Zoe Young. So she's the younger sister of Donald Young, who used to race junior sedans. That was a career best drive in second, and Ben McCulloch, I think that's how you pronounce that name. He was third, so well done with that. And then we had over on the West Coast earlier this morning here for us East Coasters, the Perth Motorplex ran the second round of the AHG Sprint Car Series, so that was round 2. A small field, there was a dozen sprint cars that took the green for the feature race. They're really struggling over there, struggling to get on average 15 to 16 cars. They're going a bit of a through a bit of a lull nut, but it's not stopping them doing some promotion. I'm really enjoying, I know I've said this earlier in the week, in regards to the media and the promotion for the AHG series. So it's awesome. I'm really enjoying the fact that I can listen to all the podium finishes, just like you do with the footballer, with the captain and the coach. They're doing that now, so the podium, the top 3 finishers getting interviewed live, and it's there on Facebook to view. So that certainly helps me with getting it with that. So as Casey Petch, the former production CM racer, Oldfield's made headlines, yes, so I'll get to that. So Jamie Alford was on the stand, also Warren Alford in the late models, his brother. So we've got there. So I think Warren's the baby brother. So yeah, Jamie's in the middle and Jason's the oldest. So we've got there. So in the sprint car, so it's really slick conditions, and it really come down to really managing the conditions best. It was really tough to pass tough conditions, about finding the race lines. And it was Jason Pride. So he's a guy that's, he's been in sprint cars for about 4 seasons now. Certainly doesn't have any expense spared when it comes to equipment. He's a young, successful businessman, and he's got a lot of respect there. And he was able to come away with his maiden feature race win in 410 sprint cars. So Jason, he drove smartly. He was able to just keep it all together and take the win. It's really good to see that, because Jason Pride is one of the most respected drivers, especially on the World Series trail. He's done that, and in all honesty, he's the first to admit that he hasn't set the world on fire, sort of thing. So him and his crew chief John O'Coyle are really working hard, and it's great to see good things happen to good people, because he's got a lot of respect he's as a contractor driver, so amongst his peers. So it's great to see him pick up a win, and he just needs to learn how to celebrate those victory donuts better. So on the in the press conference last night, they're all taking the mickey out of him in regards to his post-race victory donuts. But hopefully this can be the first of many, Jason, but well done. Another Jason Kendrick, after having a DNF in round 1 the previous Saturday night, Jason bounced back to run second. It's interesting what they're doing with the format for the HG series is, like starting the fastest from the rear and making their way, the people go forward, making the faster guys work their way through the pack. It creates more competition, more excitement. So that's really seems to be working. But Jason Kendrick brought it home in second. He wasn't happy about running second, because he's a racer that races to win. But he was happy to snare a podium. But I think every driver was happy for Jason Pride to get his first win. So and that's a good thing, and that shows that you've got respect across the field when you have your peers are happy with you. With you actually your success, sort of thing. So Speedo is the type of sport where we want to eat our own and knock everyone down. But it was great to see that everyone was just as stoked to see Jason Pride get that win. So well done, Jason, once again. But Jason Kendrick was second, so that hopefully, he can, after the DNF, he can hopefully, get some more points in the bank for the AHG series. In third was Jamie Alfield. Jamie Alfield was running his 360 sprint car. He started towards the front. He was off pole position, led the early stages, and then it was able to, drive smartly and just bring it home in third place, master the conditions best. It's a guy of his experience. It's great to see him back in a sprint car, and he certainly hit the ground running. As he said in the press conference, he was aiming for maybe a couple of podiums this year, but I think so far he's podiumed in round 1 of the 360 Power Series. That was at Ellenbrook on Speedo on Oldfield's home track, and then he got second on last Saturday night for a Club 360 show at the Perth Motorplex. Then he ran third in the 410 competition last night, and he also picked up the 360 Power Series round 3 win at the Motorplex last night as well. So I'll let you know a bit about that further down with that. So fourth place was Carl Dowling. Carl Dowling, he was celebrating his birthday. I think it would be about his 30th or his 31st. He finished just off the podium in fourth, so it's good to see Carl back, and hopefully he gets some more racing. And he's a previous AHG series round winner in the past, so he's certainly capable of running up the front once again. Fifth place was Daniel Harding. He started from position 11, and he was able to bring it home in fifth. And so unfortunate, Sean Bradford, who dominated the opening rounds a week earlier, didn't contest this round. Andrew Piolo, who ran second, he had dramas in his heat races, and he was unable to start the feature race, so that was unfortunate for him, certainly after the confidence boosting second place. And then in the 360 sprint cars for the Power 360 Power Series, round 3, it was Jamie Alfield that picked up the win in the Rod Howe WA number 54 car. He ended up taking the win. Troy Lawson was second. Troy Lawson had won the club show the previous weekend at the Motorplex. And Tom Hooper, the former WA Formula 500 champion, he was able to bring it home in third, and he's doing really well. And in the other classes, you had round 3 of the Pro Dirt Series, and it was another Alfa. This is the baby of the Oldfields, of the brothers, Warren. He ended up taking the win. Brad Blake was second, and Matt Goodlad was third. So well done for all that. In the wingless sprints, it was 2-time Australian champion Daniel Hardigan who was able to turn the tables on Matt Ivanhoe, who won the previous weekend, and get the win, take his first win for the season. So Hardigan defeated Matt Ivanhoe for there. So they ran, first and second. Brendan Wedge completed the podium in third. So well done for them. In the speed cars, it was Tom Payett. So it was a small field, but Tom Payett in his second outing running the WA number 52 Lee Redman owned car, he was able to take the win. So obviously, as a lot of people would know, last weekend Tom Payett was leading the feature race at the Perth Motorplex. There was guys like Dane Kingshot, Michael Pickens. This was on his debut in speed cars, so he's well known for he's the current and 3-time WA wingless sprint champion. But he was able to hit the ground running sort of thing with that. And Tommy Payett, he's been Buddha as he's known as to a lot of people. He's known for either win it or bin it, but he's certainly been able to, since he's gotten to the speed car, he's really able to mature it a lot more, and not, and probably because of the budget sort of thing too. Speed cars are a lot more expensive to fix when it comes as compared to a wingless sprint sort of thing. So he's certainly calmed his ways. It's great to see, and it was awesome to see him pick up the win. So Travis White, who presents his WA number 38, he presents a beautiful looking speed car. He was second, and Kian Fleming was third. In the other class, there was one more class. You had junior sedans, and it was Lachlan Della, I think that's how you say it. He ended up taking away the feature race win for the juniors around the massive Perth Motorplex. Second was Blake Ivanhoe, I think that's how you say it. That's Matthew's younger brother. And third was Jackson Derrick. So that was great to see, and it looks, hopefully the crowds, they're getting the crowds back to the Perth Motorplex. It's a world class facility. It's the best in the country by far. The track, obviously, it's a bit hit and miss sometimes, but the facilities itself, it's awesome. And it's great to see some good racing, and hopefully 14 sprint cars can pick back up. And it's not through lack of trying, so hopefully that can turn around. To northern New South Wales, we go to Lismore Speedway, and they held the Lord Mayor's Cup. So that's an annual event that David Lander has for the V8 Dirt Modifieds. When he used to have the Lord Mayor's Cup for the season opener at Sydney's Parramatta Speedway, which is now known as Valvoline Raceway. So it's the Lord Mayor's Cup for V8 Dirt Modifieds. So Andrew Pizzuti, he won the previous weekend at Brisbane's Archerfield Speedway. He was able to go back to back. Pizzuti, who's grew up around the Byron Bay, Ballina area, calls Lismore home, and he was able to take the win. Second was another local in Ray Eggins. So that was probably one of Ray's best drives in a long time. And third was Anthony Ashe, and that was definitely a career best drive for Anthony. So with that, Tony Dunn was fourth, and the veteran Ray Claridge was fifth. So what I can just see Benny Griffin popping up there. Perfect timing. Your ears must have been burning. Ben, he's one of the guys that the hard workers of the V8 Dirt Modifieds up there. So it sounded like it was a great night. It's a challenging track, no doubt, but Lismore always is. So with that. In the support class, you had wingless sprints. You had former Queensland champion Trent Martin. He ended up taking away the win. Second was David Eggins, and third was Mick Santon. In the AMCA Nationals, it was current NT AMCA National champion in Shane Newstead. He picked up the win. Nathan Jones was second, and third was Matthew Hearn. I believe that's a relative of Stuart Hearn, and I think it's the son of Phil Hearn, which is a former Australian AMCA national champion from probably about 15 years ago. So yeah, I think Phil Hearn won the Australian AMCA national title in 2002 at the Newcastle Motordrome here in New South Wales. So if someone can confirm that, let me know. But I'm thinking Matthew Hearn is a relation of Phil Hearn, sort of, and obviously Stewart and all that. So yeah, with that, in the production sedans, it was Chris Bezeling, I think that's it, and Trent Nicola was second, and third was Aaron Hall. In the RSA Street Stockers, it was Luke Gray that picked up the win. Jamie Smith, who won the previous meeting at Grafton, he was second, and third was Jay Waters. In the National Fours, it was Jerry Flood, second was Shane Laurie, and Sarah Duchla, I think that's how you say it. I apologise for that. I think she was third. In junior sedans, it was Matthew Ware, Connor Reeves was second, and Brock Youngberry was third. And the Archerfield Speedway, they had a low-key night, so they had the speed cars were on the program. They headlined the program. That was the third round of the Polar Ice Series, so that's supported by Jack Berry. And Darren Vine picked up his second win. He ended up winning the actual the opening round. Scott Farmer won the second round, and then Scott Farmer ended up second. So Darren Vine was able to pick up his second round win from 3 rounds. So well done for Darren for that. Scotty Farmer, who won the previous round, he was second. Anthony Chaffee was third. Brendan Palmer and Michael Harders completed the top 5 finishes. In the other classes, you had late models on the program, and Darren Kane ended up taking a convincing win in the late models. Second was youngster Carter Armstrong in his first appearance for the season, and third was Michael Jenner. In the AMCA Nationals, it was former Australian champion and current Queensland and New South Wales champion Matt Hardy who took the win for the second round of the track championship at Brisbane's Archerfield Speedway. And then we've got with that veteran racer Steve Potts was second, and Matt's dad Russ was third. In the lightning sprints, it was Jeremy Hassel. Jeremy Hassel was best known for his antics in speed cars. He was very successful there. He picked up his first win in lightning sprints. He ended up defeating current Australian champion Kurt Wilson, which is a big effort. Anytime you can beat Kurt Wilson, who's the form driver in the lightning sprints for the last couple of seasons, doing something good. So he was second, and third was Jason Ray, so another consistent racer, and great to see Jason end up on the podium. Another low-key night. It was a sportsman's night at Toowoomba's High Tech Oil Speedway. Earlier last week we were talking to track manager Benny Bishop, and the sportsman night presented by one of our supporters, Ian Botcher Race Parts. So it was great to see them. It was great fields across. You had modified sedans, mod lights, legend cars, micro sprints, junior sedans, Surface Paradise sedans, both A and B grade. So there was a good roll-up of cars there. So in the modifieds, it was Rodney Pimento, who's the current Queensland and New South Wales title holder. He ended up coming away with the win. Second and third was Jason Gray and Lee Volk. In the mod lights, it was Kyle Honor who picked up the honours. I'm not sure, don't know a whole lot about Kyle Honor, not too sure, but he ended up coming away with the win, and that's a good thing with the mod lights class. You never know who's going to rock up and be able to come away with the win. So Kyle defeated current Australian champion Aaron Prosser, and third was Clinton Hansey, who Clinton Hansey presents Immaculate Equipment, and he's soon to be stepping into V8 Jet Modifieds as well. So he's going to be doing both mod lights and V8 Jet Modified, so that's great to see. So following in the footsteps of Terry Liedenveld. So we've got that. In the legend cars, it was Steve Isdale who took the win. Gatton's Ian Jones, so he's the track president there for Lockyer Valley Speedway in Gatton. He was second, and Lee Walker was third. In the micro sprints, it was Victorian Graham Porter who made the trip up to run up into Toowoomba in Queensland. He ended up taking the win. Jason Glenn was second, and Shane Munro was third. In the junior sedans, it was Hayden Brims. That's one of the young sons of super sedan racer Wayne Brims. He took the win. Mitchell Pimenta was second, and Jordan Cunningham, another local, was third. So the Mitchell Pimenta and Jordan Cunningham are both Toowoomba-based youngsters. And the Surface Paradise sedans, the A grade, Ray Lane took the win. Mitchell Taylor was second, and third was Greg Town. In the Service Paradise Sedans B grade, there was Ben Robinson took the win. Ben Taylor was second, and Scott Taylor was third. Also last night, we had the opening round of the All-Star Series for 360 sprint cars. So that was round one. That was held last night at Mildura's Timber Speeder. They're also running tonight. We've got the Cole Beasley Classic for 410 sprint cars. There's 39 cars there tonight. So yeah, good luck to everyone running there, and hopefully everyone can have a successful run. So round one of the All-Star Series, it kicked off with a cameo appearance with 410 sprint car regular and two-time Australian Sprint Car Champion and World Series Sprint Car Champion David Murcott. David Murcott scored a flag-to-flag win. He was driving the Victoria number 38 Matt and Renee Estimone Victory Lane race gear car. So he took a win, a comfortable win, flag-to-flag. Brenton Farrier put in one of the drivers. He's a former All-Star Series champion himself. He come from the B main. He had an unlucky DNF in one of his earlier heat race, so that sentenced him to the B main. Came through the B main, was able to pip Chris Solomon for second on the final lap. So Chris Solomon brought it home in third. Former South Australian title holder of last season, Daniel Evans, was fourth. And fifth was Phil Locke, another former All-Star Series champion. In the support class, you had the wingless sprint. So Jay Brown come away with a win. Second was another local, Travis Beasley. So that's the son of Cole Beasley, the Cole Beasley Classic that's on tonight. So, and Brett Island from South Australia, and Murray Bridge, South Australia, was third. Runga Park Speedway in Alice Springs in the Northern Territory last night held the Northern Territory Junior Sedan title, and surprise, surprise, it was Artie Jonick from Ipswich in Queensland. Interesting to note that Artie Jonick, who he's a former Speedway Australia junior driver of the year award recipient. He's won 13 feature races last year. He ran second in last season's national title at Borderline Speedway in Mount Gambier in South Australia. So he ended up, he successfully defended the title. So Artie Johnny, he was fast. He ridiculously fast. Someone was commenting he broke the 10-lap record by 11 seconds. He's driving a Daihatsu Charade. He broke it by 11 seconds. He was getting around there in his Daihatsu Charade, which is off its nut. It's obviously drives it really well, but it's a high-performing car. And the street stock goes around there faster than a street stock. So, and Anthony Bear and Jason Jewell, who won the NT title only a couple of weeks ago, getting around there faster, junior sedan. So that's insane. It's sort of exciting, but it's frightening at the same time because these are just kids and front-wheel drive cars. So yeah, so not sure, with that, but all positives, and well done for Artie for going back-to-back. Second was Zach Minsell, so he's from Broome in Western Australia. He's the son of former WA Super Sedan champion Warren, and he ended up second. He was wrapped with that, a great effort to come over. Third place was Dylan Parks, who ran second in last season's NT title. He's another Western Australian driver. He brought it home in third. Fourth was Ricky Cornwell from Victoria. Another Victorian Enjoy Irwing was fifth. The best out of the NT based cars was Lance Carew. The best he could do for the fly the flag. He's from Darwin, and he ended up 8th place. So well done there with that. Then we've got a number of race meetings that were held in Queensland. So we had Rockhampton's Rocky Speedway that was held, and they had round 2 of the Queensland Super Sedan Series, and former multiple Australian champion and arch rival of Darren Kane, Matt Pascoe, picked up the win. Second was Sean Black, and third was Matt Williams. In the Formula 500s, which was the second round of the Rumble Series, it was Billy Foyle. Billy Foyle, since podium at Australian title, I think it was the year that Dylan Wilshire won, which I think was 2015 at Rockhampton Speedway. He's been off the race. He's battled with car problems and all that, but Billy, picked up the win. Second was two-time Australian champion and veteran racer Mick Pronger, and third was Mick's son, Nathan Pronger, who's a former Speedway Series champion and multiple state title holder. So with that, and the AMCA Nationals was Glenn Bolter, who scored the win. Cody Simmons was second, and former NT champion Gavin Wooten was third. Gavin, it's good to see you back, mate. Thankfully after your health scare last season. So, in the street stocks, it was Steve Hagan that took the win. Randall Vuyas, I think it says, and Dean Ruffenberg completed the podium. In the modified sedans, it was Tim Atkin who's driving for Alan Nash. So that's the car that Todd Doyle used to run. And yeah, Tim was then able to pick up the win. He's the current national title third place holder, so he's current Australian number 3 in modified sedans. So he took the win. Brody Boss, speaking of his national title, he was the guy that won the title from the rear and then got controversially disqualified post-race. He made his first appearance since getting his 6-month holiday. He came through, had a good run, having a good battle there with Tim, but brought it home in second. And third was Tommy Muir, so a former junior sedan racer. And the Super Stockers, I'm not sure what they are. I'm not really sure. I think they're Outlaw Sprint sedans, but they run a few different things up there in Queensland somewhere. So Jeff Rosa took the win. Second was Nick Cook, and third was not Duncan McGilvray, it's the former rugby league player, Mark McGilvray. Sorry about that. And the junior sedans, it was Casey Collins, who was unlucky last weekend at Maryborough Speedway. He was leading and then up until had a mechanical failure, and that put him out. So he ended up bouncing back. The kid from Bundaberg took the win. Michael Larson was second, and Dakota Lavatory was third. Gympie's Mother Mountain Speedway, so that was headlined. Gympie's Mother Mountain in Queensland, a Mother Mountain Speedway. It's one of the unique speedways. It's got a hill, it's got a dog leg. It's really awesome. It's one of the tracks that you really need to go and see, and I'm looking forward to getting there sooner rather than later. And that was headlined by the City of Gympie title for street stocks. So we had Ryan Kaler, I think that's how you say it, took the win. Second was Ben Langdon, and third was current New South Wales street stock champion in Peter Thompson. Modified sedans, Jessica O'Meara took the win. Russell Harris and Jamie O'Meara were second and third. In the production sedans, it was Frank Packer took a strong win. Former Australian champion Chris Pagel was second, and Aaron Sander was third. In the national fours, it was Brock Hancock who took the win. Braden Mooney was second, and Harrison Chown, I think that's how you say it, was third. In the junior sedans, it was Ellie Peacock, the younger sister of sprint car racer and former Australian junior sedan champion Jaden Peacock. So Ellie Peacock picked up the win. Jai Corbett, who's the son of Andrew Corbett, who runs 14 sprint cars now, as a former Australian production sedan champion, and third was Dylan Keane. Also, we've got a couple more things to review here. So, yeah, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. Please like, comment, share. I can see Mick Lysev saying, hoping for a good night at Timis. Yeah, hopefully I was speaking to Angelo Carusas, who's one of the hard workers behind the scenes at Timis Speedway, and I wished him good luck for tonight. It sounded like it was a good night last night, and yeah, with that. So speaking of good nights, they had the 50th anniversary race meeting at Carrick Speedway in Tasmania. So that's, as I was saying in the preview, it was really good to see that, to actually have, to get 50 years at a speedway, especially in this current climate, it's awesome to see. So the meeting was headlined by the 410 sprint cars. The 410 sprint cars saw Jason Redpath take the win. Second was Jamie Bricknell in his first appearance for the season, and third was Kurt Luttrell. In the Formula 500, it was Jock Goodyear, who sensationally made his debut in sprint cars a fortnight ago and got on the podium. He picked up another one. I think that's 3 from 3 wins now for Jock Goodyear down in Tasmania. Nick Kingston, former Tasmanian champion, was second, and third was Dylan Beveridge, he was third. In the modified sedans, it was Brad Herbert, who went back-to-back. This is 3 starts, and he's had a second and 2 wins. So a great start. That's in the ex-Kelly Atkins car. So he was able to, take the win again. Brad McKendrick, so that's Brad's brother-in-law, that he's married to Brad's sister. So, and third was Joshua Marston. So, and in the street stocks, it was Troy Russell who took the win. Troy Russell, I still remember a few years ago with Troy Russell when I don't think it was a Tassie title, but I think it was like one of the series rounds that they had on there, and he was winning, and I think he wrapped up there and he was doing donuts and he flipped over in his street stocks. So yeah, that was fun. Every time it was Troy Russell. Corey Balds was second, and Ben Riley was third. In junior sedans, it was Jacob Jetson. He featured in Totally Speedo's top 10 drivers for junior sedans. He took the win. Cody Gay was second, and third was Mitch Colin. So with that, and then finally, just recently, about a couple of hours ago, the World Finals. So the World of Outlaws, where they bring late models big block modifieds and 410 sprint cars together. They completed the 3 nights in a row, so that was at the dirt track at Charlotte in North Carolina. And the 410 sprint cars, as I said on Friday's preview, I was talking about how Donny Schatz clinched his, his 9th World of Outlaws title. So he did that by taking hot laps on Thursday night. He did that, which was Friday our time. So he did that, but then night 2 he ended up taking the win. And that was his 20th World of Outlaws round win of the year. A phenomenal effort, especially in the World of Outlaws. Second was our own Ian Madsen, who put in a great drive, probably one of his best drives of the year to run second. And as I said in the preview, Ian's got a good history there. I remember him, it would have been about 5 years ago before he hooked up with his current team. He was running for Bill Rose as a substitute because Bill Rose had broken his arm or something. He had an arm injury or something. And, Ian was able to get out there and be straight on the pace of the track. So, yeah, Ian got second. Dave Blaney was third, and fourth was Kerry's older brother, Ian's older brother, Kerry. So, who was in fourth. So that was yesterday morning. And then this morning / lunchtime, they held the third and final night, and it was David Gravel who pulled off. Donny Schatz was on track for his 21st win for the year, wrapping up his 9th championship in style, but it wasn't to be. David Gravel was able to, who was one of the stars of the Knoxville Nationals, he was able to execute a last lap pass on Donny Schatz, which you don't see often. So with that, but Schatz was second, but sometimes it's better to be in second in these incidents where you just pull a slide job and you can really make it happen. Sometimes they're hard to defend. So with that, and Brian Brown was third. Kerry Madsen fourth again, so back-to-back nights ended up fourth, finishing the year really strong. Naturally, a fortnight ago he won the World of Outlaws feature race running for the Big Game Motorsport team this year. I think he's had you look back on his year and you'll think, yeah, that's pretty successful. Yeah, and no doubt he'll be better for the run for the second season too. So hopefully he goes around again and he can pick up some more wins. Ian Madsen, earlier today, he ended up 20th, not a reflection of his speed. Earlier in the race, he'd spun to avoid a car. That was early in the race, so that put him down. He ended up losing a lap and ended up 20th. So certainly after the highs of the previous night to go to that, so it was pretty, chocolates or boiled lollies. He certainly had both of that. And then so in the other classes, you had the late models. They were running. There we've got, and they had their final, the World of Outlaws Series final. So with that, and it's Dennis Erb Jr. who took the win. Mike Marlar was second, and Jimmy Owens, who toured out here a couple of years ago in a super sedan down in Tassie, running for David Nichols. He ended up third. The championship went the way of Brendan Shepherd. He ended up fourth earlier today in the feature race, but that was enough for him to wrap up the championship and win his, I think that's his first World of Outlaws title for the late models. And then in the big block modifieds, which featured our own Peter Britton, multiple Australian champion and certainly a star over there flying the Aussie flag for us, and that was their final round of the Super Dirt Series. It was Matt Shepherd who won the battle and the war, so he ended up, and that was his 6th Super Dirt Series championship. So Matt ended up winning the final round, completed the 40 laps. Keith Flatch was second, and Mike Marnie was third. Our own Peter Britton was 6th, and certainly it's been a breakout year for Pete. He won the track championship, his local track championship. He ended up winning, becoming the first international driver to win a round of the Super Dirt Series earlier in the year. So it's an awesome year. So that completes everything, guys. Thanks once again for tuning in. Please like, comment, share. Just tell everyone about it and share it, and really appreciate the support. Coming up, I'm confirming tomorrow morning with Jason Doyle what day and time he is available. So hopefully I can get an answer from him very quickly, so then I can let you guys know when Jason Doyle. So he's going to be part of this week's conversation program, so that's supported by LA Racing Lubricants. On Wednesday night, we're going to have the regular Q&A with myself, and then we'll have the weekend preview on Friday. But thanks, guys, once again for tuning in. Really appreciate the support. Until I see you again, bye.